Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
He can play. And we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royals. Let me live that fantasy.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic. On the Connor Happer Show. On 1620, The Zone.
You can play.
Mitch Sherman from The Athletic joins us now on the hotline. Mitch, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm well. How are you? Sorry about the noise in the background here. I'm just hitting the fountain pop machine on the way out of lunch. So Max Olson says hello.
Hi, Max.
Our good friend from ESPN. I
Excellent.
can't hear you, but yeah.
Well, tell him we said hi. Please tell him right now. Tell him we said hello.
All right, hold on. I'll go tell him that right now.
Okay.
They're saying hi. Connor says hi. All right. He says peace out.
Okay, peace out. All right.
We're good.
That's good. All right. I'm surprised that your tweet hasn't made it to Carolina yet. New Nebraska.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, new Nebraska assistant coach Phil Snow says he has no doubt that if Matt Rhule had been given 4 years with the Panthers, he would have won.
Did you hear that? Did you actually hear the audio of that?
No, I didn't. I haven't heard any of the quotes yet. I'm just going off of pure tweets, and that's it.
Yeah, it wasn't said in passing. Like, that's one of those things where Phil Snow, there was not a question about, well, maybe there was one question, but I think it was a question about it because he started talking about it and then he went back to talk about it and doubled down like even more vigorously on that comment. Like, yeah, Phil Snow wanted to say that. He wanted to get it off his chest. So interesting that he thinks that. I don't know what it really means for anybody associated with Nebraska. But I did think that, yeah, when that comment went out and started floating around, that it would get a lot of negative reaction in Charlotte, in that area.
One of the things that we discussed this morning was our interest in, I mean, first of all these guys that talked today, their roles, but I think in particular, Phil Snow was the one that was a little bit fascinating to me. What did you learn today, or what did he say about, some of the things that they're looking to do and what his specific role, on a day-to-day might look like here at Nebraska?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway, and I was curious about this going in, is would he actually be an associate head coach? Like, there are people who have that title, associate head coach, because they're the offensive coordinator, or they're the defensive coordinator, or maybe they're not even a coordinator at all. They just need a reason to be able to pay the linebackers coach or the running backs coach more, so they give him a title. I think we've even seen that at Nebraska. Like, I believe, Turner Gill was the associate head coach if you go way back. He's really the associate head coach, Phil Snow is. It's certainly not done for money purposes. He's at $400,000 on the very bottom as far as what he's making. And I think that's just, he's at that place in his career where he's not doing this to add to his, he's made plenty of money in his career, and sure, he wants to be well paid, and you're going to be working in Nebraska, but it's not like he came back to, to be $1 million assistant coach. He just missed football and wanted to be a part of it and wants to help Matt Rhule. But he's really the associate head coach. Like, he is kind of the stand-in for Matt Rhule on the things that Matt Rhule doesn't have time in his day still to do.
What do you think that means functionally for I mean, people think of Phil Snow and he's been the longtime trusted, him and Rhule have had a relationship for a very long time, and you think Phil Snow and you think defense, and obviously that'll be, kind of where his time is spent. But I was, we were talking about it this morning, and I was just sort of explaining, like, is it an overseeing? Is he an extension of Matt Rhule? Like, associate head coach, it works that way, but then what's inside of that puzzle?
Yeah, I do think he's an extension of Matt Rhule. You saw it with the way that the role that he played, that Snow played in helping Nebraska find Mike Eckler. And I asked him specifically about what Rhule brought up earlier this month, that Snow was going to be working with the edge rushers and helping Terry Braden. And I thought, that's a smart thing to do, because Braden has not been around this level of college football. He's just been in the NFL with the Chiefs for the majority of his career. And, this would help acclimate Terry Braden to whatever he might find at Nebraska that's different from the past. And Snow kind of pushed back and said, nah, I'll help out wherever I'm needed. I'm going to be with a position group all the time, but it's not going to be the same. Like, I'm not always going to be with the pass rushers. Like, he might go spend a day with the safeties and then work with the corners. Like, he's going to jump around and just figure out, okay, what's needed right now. Like, where do you maybe have a position that requires attention because there was an injury and you got to get somebody up to speed, or because of the opponent you're playing that week, like your corners are going to be extra important. They're going to be isolated against great receivers and man-to-man coverage. Like, they can take him and move him to spots that require extra attention.
Interesting.
In season or out of season. So that's part of it. And then also it's being a sounding board for Rhule. It's going and helping coach the coaches. He was clear that he doesn't have the desire to be on the road recruiting. So yeah, this is not a title for one of your traditional typical assistant coaches. This is an actual associate head coach, which is not something I think that we've seen in college football, but
pretty unique.
Now with the rule changes, you can do it.
You had one tweet about Da'Keel Shorts. Da'Keel Shorts is very impressive. That is all.
Yeah.
Why did you say that?
Loved it. Loved talking to him. He, for 30 years old, is like, walks in, commands the room, super mature, professional, really just get the vibe that he knows what he's talking about. His experience is seemingly all geared toward this. Like, he's not somebody who's jumped around. Like, his specialty, his expertise is wide receivers. Seems very much in command of in knowing like what he wants from these guys, like very assured in every kind of question that was thrown at him. I don't imagine that, having coached at West Virginia in a support staff role, and then Houston in a support staff role, and then Houston for a couple years as the wide receivers coach in Kentucky, that he's faced a media situation like he did today. And it was like he'd been up there 20 times in the past. Super comfortable. I very, very confident, but not generally. I think if you find a 30-year-old who's as confident as he came off, like, there's going to be a little bit of a cockiness or a swag to them, which is fine. It's sports, it's football, but that's not how it came off with him. It was like he was confident because he feels like and knows that he knows his stuff. So fits in really well, seemingly because of the tie that he's got to Dana Holgorsen.
Yes.
So I was just really impressed with him.
Yeah, I think that was the next thing I was going to ask you about, the tie with Dana Holgorsen and him getting the endorsement from Holgorsen of kind of handpicking him and bringing him into this staff. I mean, that already sort of made us think a lot of Da'Keel Shorts. And then you look at the resume, and then you also have the added familiarity too of working with a couple guys that he worked with at Kentucky last year. And, you're also inheriting Ja'Cory Barney, which is not the worst thing in the world either, and a couple wide receivers from other places as well. Like, when you combined with what you saw from him today, Shorts, and then what he has in the room, I don't know, it feels, and then Holgorsen in the offense, it feels like a really good combination, maybe one of the best ones that's been at Nebraska for a while now at that spot.
Yeah, and I also liked about him that he didn't hype it up. He didn't try to say, hey, this receiving core is on track to being, top half of the Big Ten. I don't think he feels the need to be brash. I think he just expects that they're going to work through whatever issues they got, and they'll do their talking on the field. Like he initially the first thing he brought up is that this group is very much short on game experience. That you have a bunch of guys who've played 1 year of college football, like Ja'Cory Barney and Isaiah Hunter and Hardly Gilmore, who Shorts mentioned was 16 years old when they met at Kentucky. He reclassified out of high school, so was a year on the young side and then played as a true freshman. So he just turned 18 and having been at Nebraska now for a couple of months. So Shorts says, we've got all these guys or several guys who've got 1 year of college experience plus Dane Key, who's the veteran of the group. So he's not, he understands right off the bat that they still have a lot to prove as a group. And I think he'll probably go into spring practice with that, having that mindset with those guys.
No doubt. Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. All right, Mitch, we will let you go. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. He'll have a write-up on that a little bit later on today. Indeed. Lunch with Max. Wonder where they went. I should have asked. Maybe he wouldn't have said.
Well, celebrities, they don't like to tell people, the public, where they're at.
He was going somewhere with a soda fountain.
Okay.
Had to be downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Max is a Lincolnite. It's probably, the Lincolnites don't get downtown unless they're, doing something like that.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I follow.
Let's I'm gonna text Mitch now. I'm gonna ask him where he went, but my guess is officially, I'm projecting my own thoughts. I would have got, if I'm in a situation like that and it's lunch, I'm going to Bison Witches.
Okay.
Where did you go to lunch?
The guess is locked in.
The guess is locked in. It's Bison Witches. We'll get the answer and the polls. We'll tell you what to watch coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
After further review, the host is deemed to be out of bounds. The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.